everyone, and welcome to the Medium Next Door, and my name is Bonnie Page, and I'm so happy to have you tuning in to this show. And this show is going to be about how to meet your guide, because we all have guides, and we're never alone. So this actually is one of my classes that I teach at a college and a local high school, and so I kind of cut it down into size to fit today's show. So you're going to get a little bit of everything. So I just want to tell you, that you're not alone, that you're always guided, protected, and loved, and we have guides. So today we'll find out who can be your guide, what do they do, why are they our guides. So, and then I'll do a little meditation, so maybe you'll get to see your guide today. So again, thank you for tuning in. So we all have guides. And guides, like I said, are there to help us spiritually, to help us on our path here, on our earth life, right? So there's all different kinds of guides. There are spirit guides, which is can become our loved ones when they pass over. They can decide to stay with us and become one of our spirit guides. And so it's great. They know us, they love us, they want to see us do our best, they want to help us accomplish what we came down here to earth this time to accomplish. So if you can think of this, before we incarnate this time, we sit up there with everybody in heaven, and we decide the path that we want to be on this time on earth, what we want to learn, what we want to accomplish, what goals do we want to set for ourselves. So it's called our blueprint, and we sit with everyone and we decide the things that we would like to see happen and what our soul would like to learn while we are here on earth this time. Because we come back and back lots of times, but this time we came with a purpose, and our guides can help us find that path, direct us in our own way. My mom passed a year ago, and she became one of my guides, and I'm so happy to have her as a guide. Everyone knows I'm a medium, and my mother had this gift, and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. So my mom passed, and after she had been in heaven just for a little while, she would come to me when I would start to do messages, and I would see her face in front of my face. In fact, at first I was like, Mom, it's nice to see you, but I'm trying to give a reading here. And then I realized she was bringing people through to me, and I'll see her at events standing there. So she is like a specialized guide helping me with my mediumship. So there's all different kinds of guides, and there's guides that we can call in for special jobs that we want to do. So yes, and so my brother is one of my guides also, and if you see I just went like this, it's a picture of my mom and my brother. And the first time I saw my brother in spirit, actually spent the whole week with me when I went to the Omega Institute to train in mediumship. And so my brother and I had a big span of 15 years here on Earth, so we didn't hang out that much together, but we loved each other tremendously. So I was at Omega, and I'm giving a reading to this husband and wife who had lost their son, and all of a sudden I see my brother in his full form right here, and he's like, by golly, by geez, and I'm like, oh, and he was so happy to see that I was doing this work, and he spent the whole week with me. It was like spending a week on a vacation with my brother. I couldn't wait to go back home and tell my mom. It was like the most time we had spent together. And after that, I was trying to help others give messages. I would call my brother down, and he would help me with that. So who can become your guide? So there's angels and there's guides, right? So we all have a guardian angel that we got from the time we were born that will be with us constantly, never leaving us until we go back home to heaven. And this guardian angel also works with our other guides, and this guardian angel also works with our higher self. So what is your higher self, you say? Well, inside here, our soul and our heart is our higher self, which is the very best of us, and also the Holy Spirit, which is the very best of heaven. So what is your higher self? What is your higher self like? As I said, the very best of us, but it's usually that little voice that you hear when maybe things aren't going so great, but they take the high road. So it's like our higher self, but without our ego, because remember, your ego is edging God out. So our higher selves, I always say it's kind of like when I'm shopping in Macy's and I'm throwing all these clothes on my arm. I've got 6 shirts, and my little higher self says, well, maybe that's enough, Bonnie. And then I kind of talk back to my higher self. So I'm like, well, maybe just one more. But truthfully, your higher self is your very best guide, because all the information that you need can come from your own higher self. So you just have to ask. And remember, that higher self is that little voice in your head saying, this is a good idea, maybe not such a good idea. It's that knowing. It's that knowing. Kind of like when you're going for a new job and you go and you're so excited and you get there and things just don't feel right. And your higher self says to you, you know, I don't think you'd really like this job in the end. And you leave going, no, that's not really the job for me. That would be your higher self kicking in and keeping you on your path where you would be your happiest. Okay, so what other guides are there? I have a Native American Indian here with an eagle, and yes, we have animal totems that are also with us to show us the way. Native Americans, there's a lot of them that are guides, especially if that's in your history, our ancestors. So I have an older Native American chief that tells me he is with me to give me wisdom and knowledge. And then I have a young Native American that tells me he's there to just enlighten me and to have some fun, to remember that, you know, the world gets tough, but we need to have that fun. So there's all different guides out there, and there's specialty guides, okay? So what's a specialty guide? So have you been trying to learn something new lately, but you're having a hard time? And I'll just tell you, a few years ago, I taught Zumba, and I would teach it once a week, and I went to bed that night, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to learn this step and that step, right? 1, 2, 3, salsa. A little black box came on in the middle of the night, and what do I see? All these Latin Americans just there with a big smile on their face and telling me they were there to help me learn the steps. And I always remember that. And I'm like, that's so cool. So you don't have to know people that are your guides. They're just there when you call them in. I don't teach Zumba anymore, so it's whatever I'm doing now that I need a little help with. And I remember being a little afraid to take the microphone and walk around and give a speech. And one night, that black box, that Spirit opens up for me. Here's my brother, and he brings me up on stage, and he has a cowboy hat, and he's putting it on, and this is my brother in Spirit. And he's having me sing a whole country song with them. And I just thought it was so cute. I didn't even know my brother ever did karaoke. I had to call my sister, and she said, oh yeah, Dickie always loved karaoke. So call in your guides when you have to get over a fear or you need to learn something new. I promise you they'll be there for you. So guides also assist you, inspire you, teach you, and keep you on that path. So do guides come and go? Yes. Besides that guardian angel that you have that stays with you from the time you're born to the time you go back to heaven, some guides just come in to teach us what we're doing at the time or what we need some help with, or even taking a test. If you ever need to take a test, call in a guide, someone that knows what they're doing. So some stay for a long time and some stay for a very short time. And our guides, as we grow as people here on earth, our guides grow also. So when our soul is growing, their soul is growing. But also, as we're growing and they can't quite help us with what path we're going down next, they'll call in a guide, another person to take their place that can help us a little bit better than they can. So, but don't worry, if you're attached to your guide like I am, I have a great-grandmother, Grace, that stayed with me until I was like in my mid-40s, and then she had only lived until she was 27, and then I had a new guide take over. But don't worry, I checked in, and we will see all of our guides, and we can all call in them whenever we need to. So how do you know that your guide is close? So many people ask me, Bonnie, I want to know the name of my guide. I want to know who I'm being guided by. So remember, there's also healing angels like Archangel Raphael, and there's angels of protection like Archangel Michael. So have an open mind and an open heart to who can be your guide. Sometimes there's somebody you haven't even met, but you've spent another past life with, okay? So how do you know your guides are close? Well, sometimes it's just using our sixth sense again, either seeing in your third eye, in your mind's eye, or just knowing, feeling a presence around you, or just listening and hearing that soft voice. Guides and spirit, they reach out to us sometimes in very subtle ways, or sometimes they're really loud. Have you ever heard a knock at the door and you go there and there's no one? Spirit knocking on your door, just trying to get your attention. Or how many times have you just been in a quiet room and you can hear your name being spoken, right? All from spirit, all trying to get a sign to you. So, I taught you about the signs from heaven. Your guides and angels can send them too. So if you're walking around and you're finding white feathers from your angels, or coins, or the birds are coming, or even numbers on a clock, right? Especially numbers in sequence can be from your angels. So if you start to be aware be aware of your surroundings and how you're feeling when you're doing that something special. Before I start this show, I asked God and Jesus and the angels to come along with me and help this show go smoothly and help me to give you what you need to know. And today it's about learning about your guides. So remember that it's all very subtle, but if you can just either try to see, hear, feel, or even know that you're being protected. And sometimes there's big things that happen too. You're going down the road and it's icy and snowy and you start sliding around and all of a sudden your car gets put on the side of the road. Happened to me, it's happened to my husband and my son, and all of us have come home and said, wow, our angels and our guides and were there with us today. My husband has even said, wow, I should have died. And he thought that, I'm going to die, and his truck got put right on the side of the road. So know that they're there. Just know that angels like to be asked in, though. They like to be asked for help. And another little thing about angels is they're messengers from God, okay? They haven't walked on the earth, so they don't really know about our trials and tribulations that we have about walking on earth, but they're always there helping and protecting us, but they like to be asked in, right? So spirit guides, like our loved ones who have passed over that decide to stay on and help us, they've walked on earth, so they've lived a lot of things that we go through, and they can have compassion and sympathy because they've been through those things. So they sometimes know how to guide us in a little bit different way. So remember that your guides are here for you. And now I would like to just see if we can relax and take you through a meditation so maybe you can see your guide today. Now, remember, I'm going to do this meditation on the show, but this show will also be on my webpage. So if you ever want to go back under Bonnie's channel, it'll be at on my webpage, and that will be listed at the bottom of the show. Go on there and do this meditation over and over again, and it gets easier and easier to make that connection, make that bond with your guides, and remember, we have many, so don't be afraid to ask them for help. That's what their sole purpose is, to watch over us. So I am going to start with this guided meditation just by asking you now, wherever you are watching this show, to sit back in a chair. You can lie down if you'd like. Just make yourself comfortable, okay? Take a moment, sit back, put your feet flat on the floor, okay? Palms up, open, and ready to receive. And I'm not going to close my eyes, but I'm going to ask you to just sit back and close your eyes, palms up, feet flat on the floor, okay? All right, everybody settled, and I'm just going to have you breathe, take a nice deep breath up through your nose, hold 1, 2, 3, and out your mouth. Letting go everything that you no longer need to hold on to. And one more time, in through your nose. Hold 1, 2, 3, and out your mouth. Becoming relaxed. And now I just want you to start by picturing yourself on the shore of a lake. The shore of a lake, and in the background there's a beautiful log cabin, a beautiful handmade log cabin, And then there's all beautiful sand and trees. Now remember, I just want you to use your imagination and just picture yourself standing with your arms open and your palms up, and just let that sunshine, picture that sunshine shining brightly and warming your skin, okay? So just sit there nicely, standing, sitting, picture yourself at the shore. And as you're looking all around at your surroundings, there is an old-fashioned rowboat, an old-fashioned flat-bottomed rowboat with oars in it, okay? And you're gonna go over and get into this rowboat. You are safe, I promise. Take the oars in your hands and push yourself out into the beautiful, calm, clear, blue waters, okay? And you start to paddle. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right. And where are you going? You look out and you see this wonderful small island right in front of you. And there's a pathway waiting for your rowboat to go make its way to. So you're rowing left, right, and the island is becoming closer and closer to you, closer and closer. And all of a sudden your rowboat makes its way to the pathway, and you get out of the rowboat and push it in. And you're standing there in this beautiful island, and you make your way down that sandy pathway, feeling the sand beneath your feet. And you get into the middle of the island, standing in the middle of the island, and you're looking around at the trees and your surroundings, and again the sun is shining on your face and on your skin. And just for a moment now, stand there again with your arms out and your palms open, and just close your eyes. So you're standing in the middle of this island with your eyes closed. And now I want you to ask your guides now to step forward. Step forward, please. Ask them nicely. Come forward. I want to meet you. I want to know you. Okay? And just keep asking them, come closer, come closer. And then as you want to open your eyes, you hear the rustling in the trees and the leaves and the shrubs, and you hear the rustling, and your guide is coming closer and closer and closer to you. Now this might be a man, it might be a woman, it might be a loved one or an ancestor. It might be a Native American. It might even be an animal that you have bonded with, okay? Invite this person to come closer and closer and closer to you. And I want you to take your hands and hold them out and ask your guide to place in your hands a symbol or a gift that's meant just for you. They place either a stone or a crystal or a flower or some symbol that means something just for you, and they place it in the palms of your hand, and you thank them for this gift. This gift is going to be a way that you are going to recognize your guide when they come to you. Okay? This is going to be your gift to have forever. So take a moment now, just take a moment and thank them for all of their help in your everyday lives, and thank them for this gift that you will treasure forever. And tell them you will meet them again and again. They are so welcome. Okay? All right. Great. And then we just want to tell them it's time to go now, but we can always come back to this place in this time with this gift in our hand and see and talk with this guide. Maybe this is your loved one. Maybe this is someone you don't know. Maybe this is a spiritual teacher. But this person is going to be with you, or this animal. Welcome them in. And now it's time to make our way back to the rowboat. So say your goodbyes, but not forever. We can always come back to this special place in time. And we go back to our rowboat, and we get in it, and we push ourselves off, and we make our way back to the beautiful shore where our log cabin is waiting for us. And we get there, and we're so thankful we have met our guide today. Okay. And we get back to the shore that we came from. We are safe. We are safe, and we feel so loved from having this encounter. Okay? So go ahead and stand back on that shore and just feel the sunlight on your face. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes in the sand, and know that this is a place that you can always be with your guide. Great. So how did you do, everyone? I hope you had some wonderful experiences out there. And you know, you can send me a little note on my website also. So I hope you've enjoyed this time meeting your guide, learning about your guides. And remember, look for the signs. Ask them to come to you in a dream. That's another way that you can have a one-on-one with them, is in your dream state. Okay? And tell them you want to remember it. So meditation, doing this one over and over again, or your own meditation, is also the #1 way to meet your guides. So if you want to keep doing this over and over until you get at such ease, and spirit gets at such ease that they can come to you with no problems, just do a meditation. And again, you can go to bonniepagemedium.com, and it will be on Bonnie's channel, so you can play this little piece over and over again. So today, I just want you to remember to be a blessing, so a blessing may come back to you. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all for being here.